Welcome back, graduates. Now I'm going to show you a trick that you can do. We don't have this as a global setting for our theme, but if you do have our theme, Ecomify, this one is for you. So one of the things on the when you view the product page, most of the time it's always going to have a white or light background. And that is almost standard practice when you go on a lot of stores, but there are some fully branded stores that have the product form being the different colors. So if you do want that, I'm going to show you today how to do it step by step. Again, this is specifically for our theme. However, there might be some code adjustments if you are using another theme. In addition to that, I'll show you what that looks like, and then there's going to be some fine-tuning that you might need afterwards. So this is the example. This is on my development store. I'm using, I was given permission by the company 𝐬𝐄𝐄𝐄 t-shirts to use their products, which thank you so much again. They look awesome. So when I go into here, I see the usual standard white background or light background. You can check and sift through. Almost all Shopify stores do have this, unless it is a custom edit or things like that. Now, one of the things I want to take note is if you are using a colored background on your product form and other places as well, just make sure they're not gradients. Make sure that it's not, make sure that there's enough color. You're using it appropriately, and to segment out sections, organizing them, and lay out the colors in a good format. So if you don't, so what I'm talking about is stores that have a gradient for their product form, scrolling down another set of different gradients plus a solid color. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you want a solid color for your product form. Now, if you are going to use this, I don't recommend a red one, something that is branded, but at the same time, something that is soft, muted, and can still see the text and the content. That's not taking away from the value and the product that you're showcasing for your customer. Again, this is on Ecomify theme, but if you need tweaks, we can certainly help you out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go in. There's a couple steps here. I'm going to go into my store, and I'm going to go in and edit my code. Once I'm in my code, there's a file called template-product. You want to make sure that it is going to be the section that you are editing right here. So it will simply basically look like this. And what you're going to want to do is go in. There's just a few things you're going to have to do and set up. The first one, you can do it in different orders, wherever you decide. So right over here, I'm going to take a data product handle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this code. I'm going to remove the greater sign, enter, and then I'm going to add this. So what I'm basically saying is this product template is going to be handled by metafields. So I'm going to click save here. And then the last thing I'm going to do on this form is add the small little JavaScript needed for the color change. And so what you're going to want to do is scroll at the very bottom where you see the end section here, and you're going to keep everything formatted, but reduce some spacing if you'd like, or add just a little bit of spacing, however you see fit, right before the ending section here. That's all you're going to have to do for the product template. The next thing you're going to want to do is go and create the meta field. So I get out of there, and I'm going to go in by settings, custom data, and I'm going to create a product meta field for that. So as you see, there's already some other meta fields, which is great. I'm going to go in, add definition, and I'm going to name this color. You can name it whatever you want, but just make sure the namespace is custom.color. From here, you can start sifting through the choices, but what I like to do is I like to just start typing in what I want, color, so it reduces the time and I can get to where I want to get to. So I'm going to click save on here. That's basically the last step I have to do for my meta field. Now, the next thing you'll start seeing when you click into products, go into here. I'm going to do it on the America Moose. It's just my first one, just for demonstration purposes. I already have a color set here. So what I'm going to do is clear, and it'll look something like this, blank. Now, when I go into here, I can choose from a color here, and I'm choosing something very light and maybe like a nice tan like so. I'm going to save this, and I'm also going to give Shopify a bit to update with it. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my theme, go back into my tab here, customize my theme here. And I'm going to go in, so I can either click on a product that I want, or go into my handy dandy navigation here, choose products, and I'll just choose this one right here. So it all Shopify always defaults to like a default product, but I don't want that. I want to go into the America Mousse. That's the one that I set the color for this product. So it's going to, hopefully, if done right, apply to this color. Now, again, there are some adjustments that you will have to make. So going into product template, I'm going to scroll all the way down to custom CSS. When I add custom CSS to this section, this only applies to this template. Remember that. Now, if I want to add a global custom CSS change, I'm going to go into my app embeds here. I'm sorry, not my app embeds, my theme settings and custom CSS. And then here you'll see that it adds styling to the entire store. It's not what I want. Not today. Not today. Anyways, going down here, I'm going to scroll. And if you are on a widescreen monitor, you're going to see a left and right sidebar. If you're on a smaller screen, everything's on the left side. Now I'm going to click on custom CSS, and I'm just going to apply this. So what I'm seeing is this ID, background color, whatever I chose in my code here. So I'm going to click save, and this is the format that you'll need. Now it's going to change into that kind of like really soft light tan color if you choose to. Now the only difference and the things you have to take in consideration are the blocks that are added here. So I mean, for example, I don't actually personally like adding the vendor. I don't think that is very useful at all, and then it'll kind of go back and forth and revert. So you're just gonna have to kind of go back and forth and save and change it. Everything else still works. But get an extra bag. This is for the subtitle. I personally don't like the subtitle, but if you need another video to show, you do have to add the same kind of code to these other blocks as well to see the change. So once I add some changes, so we have this, we have that, that looks good, description, and so forth. And then this, I believe, is another underneath the stories. This is the marquee, and then stories here. I don't have any, so I'm just going to delete that, and that should reduce that spacing after I click save. Again, use the background very lightly if you are going to, and that did reduce this. So use the background color very lightly chosen, and I'm going to go and refresh this. This should refresh even more after this. But now it has a product form section, only the background color, while everything else stays white if you choose. Now, in these sections, you do have the option to choose color as well, but I'm strictly only talking about the product form itself. Let's see if it refreshes, because I did remove that section there. I feel like Shopify has been taking a long time to update recently. Not sure why. So I have reduced that. I'm going to remove this. And you want to also remove any hidden code that you don't want, as well, as it does cause load. So you can check out that other video going through. Not sure why it hasn't updated yet, but it should update. But in any event, that is how to add the background color to your product form on Ecomify Theme. Again, if you do need if you do have a dawn theme or a different theme, there will be some different adjustments, but roughly the same logic. I hope this provided some insights, and thank you so much.